Hello out there once again, all my fellow Fix employees, to another episode of How to Satisfactory, my tutorial and walkthrough series for the game, which at this point I feel may have become kind of pointless, as many of you have already surpassed most of the things I'm going to kind of go over. But as always, you guys are really enjoying the series, so I'm going to keep making them until we finish. Today, what we're going to do is continue to inch forward towards oil production by adding another part manufacturing process into our factory, since in order to unlock oil processing we need motors. Now you can always just make them manually on the workbench. We only need about 50. That's not what the game is about. It's about automation, and so automation is what we are going to do. But before we start adding in more machines to the mix, we're going to need to address a little something first, something we haven't really looked at in a while, but if we don't, we're going to run into some problems. I am, of course, talking about power, specifically our coal-power plant. We're going to start today's video by making more power. But wait, before you guys start running off over towards the power plant, make sure that you got your supplies that we're going to need first. In order to make a couple of coal generators and some water extractors, you're going to need this for sure. You are going to need 100 reinforced iron plates, 60 rotors, 120 cables, and 40 copper sheets. Now you're also going to need a lot more copper sheets because we're going to have to be doing some pipe work. Pipes need copper sheeting, and you're going to need some steel beams because we're also going to do some work on conveyor belts and stuff as well. And don't forget, my guideline is always just take a couple of stacks of everything if you're not sure exactly what you're going to need. That way it's better to be prepared and have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Once you've got all your supplies gathered up and are ready to work, start heading a little bit northwest towards our coal power plants. If you're not sure, remember where exactly that is, just follow your power line. That should be the easiest way to get there. So the first thing we're going to do is head over here to our miners mining the coal, and we're going to go ahead and convert all of these lines, these conveyor belts, over to Mark III. Also, don't forget your conveyor lifts. We got to make those into Mark III as well. You don't want that to be the kink in your lines. And you want to remember to get all of the conveyor belts going into the coal power plants and running in between all the splitters as well. We've got to get every single piece of this into Mark III. Now, technically, I don't think we're going to be needing any more than the Mark II belts, since we probably won't be transporting any more than 120 coal per minute. But this is more for future proofing, I would say. Now, once you've got all of your lines upgraded, the next thing we're going to do is head down here to where our water pumps are. And we're going to add 2 more water pumps, one on each side right here. To do so, let's go ahead and extend out these foundations. We're going to go 2 more past where they are currently. Next, we're going to go ahead and copy one of the water extractors, and we're going to hold down Control to get it just in line, and then kind of push it right next to it. That looks pretty good right there. We're going to do the same thing over here on the other side, so flip it around, hold down Control, and yeah, that looks good. Alright, go ahead and take out this catwalk stairs, and next we are going to go ahead and bring a pipeline down through here, like so. We're going to bring it down to, let's see, I want to go into that like that, but we don't want it to, we want it to be kind of straight. So let's go to, let's see, if that should be about where it's going to go in at. So let's move it back 2 spaces right there, same as your conveyor belts, and then just connect it right in like that. Do the same thing over on the other side now, so we'll just line those 2 up like that. There we go, that's lined up, and then into the water extractor. There we go. Next, just extend the catwalk so it goes over top of all of the actual piping here. That should be good. And then we want to put a ramp kind of down here. There we go. We probably want to do stairs, not the ramp. There we go. And yeah, it will kind of go into the foundation a little bit, and that's perfectly fine. Not a problem at all. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add a power pole right here onto the end of these steps right there, and connect our power up to that one. Then connect that down here to this one. Uh-oh, that's a problem. Let's come down here and connect this to here. And let's remove that power line right there and connect that up there. There we go. All right. Now for this, you can actually connect your power up any way you want. This is just how I'm going to do it. I probably also need to like redo most of the power lines over here anyway. I'm going to leave it be for now, do it off screen at some point. But yeah, just make sure you fix all your power lines up. So we definitely want to get some power to our water pumps. Now that we've got our water pumps in, we're going to come up here to our power plants, and we're going to grab one of these foundations, and we're going to extend this out 3 more spots here, and then just fill in the spaces. Do the exact same thing here on the other side. Come out about 3. There we go. And make sure we have a platform over here as well. Next up, grab a coal generator, and then we're going to go 2 from each side. So right there, and then 1, 2. That should be enough space in between. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what we've done with all the other ones. And then we're going to put another one down here on this one. About 2 away. That looks good. Right there. And do the same thing on the other side. Flip this bad boy around and place it right there, even with all the other ones. And there we go. Next up, we just have to connect in our pipes and our coal. So this is easy to do. We will just grab a conveyor splitter. We're going to hold control down right there, put it on the line. That will work. And come down here and do the other one. And do your other side the same way. Just hold control, and that should line up to where it needs to go. Then just run your belts into each of the new power plants. Now I'm going to remove these catwalk ramps right here, and I'm going to grab some pipe, and I'm going to extend these pipes all the way up to, let's see, I probably want to go to maybe right about here. Right there. Looks good. And we'll bring this one up here. We may extend these even more in another video, but today we only are going to be doing 4 more power plants. Grab a pipeline junction, turn it using your mouse wheel, and we want to get that so it's lined up. If you hold control, that should line it up straight with the power plant inlet. And then same thing over here on this side. And we're just going to copy some pipe over, and we're going to go over here and put it right there, and then raise it up 2, so make it straight. Now you want to make sure that, I believe it's auto mode. No, not auto mode. So hit R until you get, I believe it's noodle. Noodle works best right here. So change your build mode to noodle for the pipes. There we go. And then connect these up over here on this side as well, up 2. And then connect it into our power plant. Hook up all 4 of the power plants the exact same way. Last but not least, we just have to connect all 4 of the new power plants into the power cables. So we're going to come back here on the back. On this side here, we're going to do it the exact same way we did it before. So just bring one down to there on the edge, and another one here. And then just run your cables down like so. And connect all of them up. Do the same thing with the other side. Alright, bada bing, bada boom, and the power is connected. How much power did we just add, you may ask? Well, let's find out how much power. We are now producing, looks like we have a capacity of 1,050. That's a pretty good capacity. 1,050 megawatts of power should do us for a little bit longer. Let's go ahead and extend these catwalks out here to the end. Let's see, we'll do 1 more right there. I'll do 2 more actually, like that. And then we're going to put a ramp down here. So get the ramp, there it is, and then down. All right. All right, so there we go. Any power issues we may have in the near future has now been solved before they become a problem, which is excellent. Let's head back up to our main factory now. Now we're back over here at our main factory on the very top floor. This is where we're going to be placing our new assembler in order to build motors. So the first thing we're going to need to do is grab a foundation, and then we're going to add right here onto the very end of this. Just kind of extend this entire platform out by 1. Next, we'll grab one of the assemblers and we'll place it down right here in the middle, and then line it up with the other one. So we want it right in the middle of those foundations, and then lined up with the other assemblers. That looks great right there. With our new assembler placed, we will then go ahead and copy one of these mergers, put it right in front of the assembler, placing it so that the output is coming down towards us down this way, same as all the other ones are. And there we go. Then we will go ahead and put a floor hole right here in front, but right in between these 2 foundations right here. So right there. Then we'll place a conveyor lift and face it towards the merger, but make sure it is in input mode because everything's going to be coming down this line and then going down. So just like that. Now we don't actually need to put a conveyor belt into this because when we connected that, it connected straight up to the merger, but we do need to put a conveyor belt from the assembler into said merger, like that. Then we're going to just go ahead and delete this conveyor lift, that floor hole right there, and then connect this belt into this merger. Aha, alright. Taking a look at the assembler itself, we are then going to set that to make a motor. And for making motors, we're going to need two things, which is rotors and stators. Let's go ahead and take out this foundation in between these two machines so we can drop down here. And then we're just going to remove what we have here. So remove this conveyor merger, these lines that we have here, and there we go. And get rid of this line here too. This merger, this line here, that one. That one, that's all good. We'll keep this one, but we'll go ahead and delete that one all the way back until it goes all the way back to where it comes up at. There we go. This can stay though, that's fine. Let's remove the foundation underneath of our new assembler. Then we're going to go ahead and come over here and we're going to add some foundations under here in line with the ones on top, so expand this floor out a little bit as well. With everything down here removed and room to work with, what we're going to do next is grab a smart splitter. There we go, smart splitter, and we're going to put it right here in between these foundations and face it with the input coming from there, because what's going to happen is we're going to bring a conveyor lift down and into this smart splitter right there, which we're then going to do now. So go ahead and grab our lift, place it on the floor hole, and connect into the smart splitter. Perfect. Next, we'll go ahead and take a conveyor belt, run it from the smart splitter here all the way down to that belt right there. There we go, connect it up. Then we'll take a conveyor lift and we'll put it on the back of the assembler here, bring it down and face the input this way, like so. Then we're going to go ahead and bring a conveyor belt around this way, like that, down here, and let's see, right there is where we want it, so we'll bring it back to, and then just push that straight in to that lift right there. And we're going to go ahead and set this smart splitter up for, let's see, so we're coming this way in, so this is going to be the left side here, that's going to be the right. So our right hand side is going to be, let's see, rotors? Yeah, rotors. We want the right hand side to be the rotors, and the left hand side will be overflow. So everything that's not a rotor, or once this line fills up with rotors, then it will be fine. Then we'll go ahead and put the middle one to none. Now the eagle-eyed among you may have noticed that we actually don't even have any rotors coming along this top line for it to pick out of here. That's why we're going to have to change a couple of things that we have up here. So what we're going to do is come down here all the way down to the other side. I'm just going to take out a floor space here. Should be good. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and bring this belt up from here. Bring it along to right there is probably fine. Then let's jump back up to our top floor, and we're going to go ahead and place a conveyor hole right here in the very middle of this foundation platform right there. Now what that's going to do is give us the option for taking and putting a conveyor lift on the bottom with an input going up and right there, and then we'll run this line straight into that. Perfect. Alright, so now as you can see, there's our rotors we're going to be needing, as well as modular frames, everything else going up through there. Let's hop back up here on this next floor. We're going to go ahead and put a conveyor lift here, turn it this way, and then we're going to run a conveyor belt that comes around and right to there and into this line. So now everything from this line, instead of going down that line and then merging into it and coming back down this way, everything is going to be running that way right along through there, and then it will end up fixing itself here in just a second. We can then place our foundation back where we had it there, covering that up. head back down here. And now, as you can see, now our rotors from our smart splitter are now going into that and going up into that, ready to be made into our motors. But we also need one other thing. We're going to need stators now. So we're going to go ahead and put this here, and I'm going to change it, this one going this direction. And as you can see, this one here, this machine above us right here, that makes the automated wiring, also needs stators. So I will just go ahead and take this conveyor lift off, remove this foundation, grab a conveyor lift, bring it over here, bring it down, turn it towards that way. Perfect. Now we'll put a splitter right here in between both of these guys. So that will be perfect right there. Connect each of these up with conveyor belts. There we go. And then let's see. Let's go ahead and put a conveyor belt out to, say, here. That'll work. And then I can just grab a smart splitter. And I should be able to line that up perfectly with this. It's not wanting to catch, but I'll just kind of do a little bit of my eyesight here. That looks good. All right, let's go ahead and then connect that up to that. And then now we will have center output will be overflow, and the right output will be stators. There we go. And none to the left. We're not sending anything over to that side. Alright, so now that will catch any stators that come down through here, send them along this line, and then split them in between this machine and that machine. Last thing we're going to need from this is we got to fix this line back, which needs those modular frames. So, not a problem. Once again, grab a smart splitter, connect it down here, line it up with that, and then connect. Go into our smart splitter. To the right is going to be modular frames, and overflow to the center and none to the left. Alright, so now any one of the modular frames that comes down through here will now get picked up and headed into this machine, where they will then be made into the pieces we need from there. Now I believe we are now done with this floor down here. We can jump out of this, get back up on top of this floor here. There we go. Place our foundations back the way we had them. Also over here, and yeah, that side's fine. Alright. So now our assembler is getting everything it needs to make the motors, except for one other thing. It needs power. Not a problem. We'll go ahead and copy one of these double wall outlets. Put it right there. We'll then connect that with a power line. But we also have to get up behind here because we need to connect that with that one. And the only way to do that is from that upper shelf right there. This is easily done from the back. We just go ahead, come back here, connect that to that, and there we go. Alright, so now you can see it's actually starting to make the motors now. Now we are going to need, looks like 10 rotors a minute and 10 stators a minute, which I don't think we're going to be able to make that many. So I'm going to go ahead and knock this down to 50%, which is going to make 2.5 motors per minute, and we'll need 5 rotors and 5 stators. Now our other machine that needs the stators is right here, which is going to need, let's see here, 1.75 stators per minute in order to make the automated wiring. So 1.75 plus the 5 that it needs over here, that's 5, 6, about 7, which means we need to make about 8 stators altogether in order to send some to our shelving and stuff down there as well. So let's take a look at the machine down here that is making those. Alright, so automatically I can see we're making 2 per minute. If we up that to 100%, that's 5 per minute. Not quite as many as we need. We need to kind of up that a little bit more. Let's go ahead and push that to make 8. Let's see, how many are we going to need there? Alright, even with 150% with 1 power shard in it, we're only going to get 7.5 per minute. That's just not going to be a lot, as many as we need. Plus, it's also going to need a ton of steel pipes and a ton of wire, which I really don't like that idea. Let's see if we can figure this out a different way. So I've been running the numbers, and I believe I figured out the best way to do this. What we're going to do is come down here to where the automated wiring is being made. Now we don't actually need any more automated wiring right now at the moment, which means we can kind of close this machine off. Let's go ahead and put this down to, say, 50%. Let's try that, which is going to be 1.25. You know what? Let's just go with 1 per minute. There we go. That's 40%. And that will give us needing 1 stator every minute. All right. And then this one needs 5. So that's a total of 6, which means we can come down here back to our machine that's making the stators. And we can have it make, let's have it make 7 per minute. There we go. That's 1 more than what we need on this side. So of course, now that we're actually overclocking this machine, we are going to need more material coming in. We are going to need more steel pipes and more wire. Total of 21 steel pipes per minute and 56 wire. Okay, so let's see. This machine right here is also using steel pipes, right? So that's 14 plus 21. Looks like we're going to need a total of 35 steel tubes, and that's just on this side. So we're going to need even more on that side. That's double. So we're going to need 70 steel tubes total altogether. All right, so how many are we making currently? We've got 3 machines right now over here making steel tubes, each of them making 14 per minute. All right, 14 times 3 is equal to 42, and we need 70? Okay. Well, we're going to need a few more than that. I believe the best option here is going to be to add another constructor in down here for the steel. Let's put that right here lined up with that in the middle between these 2 foundations. That looks pretty good right there. Let's go ahead and add a conveyor splitter down here into that. And then we'll connect it up with our conveyor belts. There we go. And run that into that. Now, we have 4 machines. We need 70 total. Let's see. All right, so I know I need 70 steel pipes total, right? So we take the 70, we divide it by 4 machines. That's going to be 17.5 per minute to make the amount equal to what we need. So I'm going to go in here to our machine. We're going to configure this to make 18 per minute. And that's going to be 90% clock speed. I am fine with that. 90% clock speed, 18 per minute. That's going to give us 1 extra steel pipe per machine to go into storage. Total of 4 extra in storage. That works. Just going to come down here. We're going to fix up these lines just a little bit. So I will go ahead and put, let's see here. I will put a foundation here and a foundation in front of that one. And then we just have to redo these a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and take out these conveyor belts down through here, as well as the conveyor pole that's right underneath that one. Same thing over here on this side. We'll take that side out, and that conveyor pole that's underneath there. Then I will put a conveyor merger right in front of that machine right there, and another one right next to it. Then we'll put our lines back. There we go. Come down here, and let's see. Here I want to put in a ramp. Make it a 1 meter ramp right there. Yeah, that works perfect. And then I'll just run that to the edge of that ramp like that. And we'll bring it down to here. And then run it into that. Same thing here. Just line these up. There. And then down to there. And then into our conveyor lift. Perfect. All right, so that should have everything going into it now. Oops, got to fix this here. There. Now our steel beams are going down. Our steel pipes are running down that way. We're going to be making some more steel pipes here. I'll go ahead and run a conveyor belt into this merger from that machine. It does need power, so I will just go ahead and do that real quick. So run that to, say, there, and into the machine. There we go. And now it's going to start constructing. But we have to put all of these other machines into making 18 each. So we're just going to take all of our constructors down through here that are making the steel pipes, go into them and change them to 90% to make 18 each. Now we actually have to factor in how many steel ingots we're going to need, which looks like 27 per minute per machine with 4 machines. All right, so let's do the math on that. 27 times 4 equals 108. We're going to need 108 steel ingots. Right now we've got this set up so that these 3 machines right here are all running to that side, while this one is running all the steel pipes. So we're going to have to fix that up a little bit. Let's change this out from a merger to a splitter. Alright, so I'll just put that right in front of that one. And then we're going to run this conveyor belt into this merger. And I think I'm probably going to have to put each of these belts back in here as well. So not a problem. We'll just change those and re-add those back. There we go. Alright. Now, I know I need 108 total ingots. Let's see. We are making... Let's see. This one's making 50 per minute. That one's making 50 per minute as well, I believe. It's actually making 63, but alright. Let's go ahead and pump that up to 67.5. And then if I pump this one up to 67.5, alright, 67.5 divided by 2 equals 33.75, and then we add that to the 67.5. That's 101. So we're only going to be getting 101 total. That's just not going to be good enough. We're going to need more than that. Let's throw another shard in that. Let's go ahead and do, let's see, we have how much iron ore coming in? We can do more than that. We can do... let's jump this up to 75. Alright, if I change this to 75 and the other one into 75, that's going to be 112.5 total, which that will work. Alright, I'm good with that. Let's go ahead and change this one over to the same thing. Alright, perfect. So each of these smelters is now making 75 apiece. This one's going to send the full 75 down the line. This one is going to take that 75, split it. So only 37.5 go this way and add to that one. The other 37.5 go that way, adding into those. We'll get to that in a moment. But I don't think we're sending enough material in this way. So we're going to need to go up here to our actual miners, and we need to switch those out. Yeah, it looks like we're only making 100 up here. Let's just go ahead and make a lot more than that. Let's do 120. Actually, no, that is incorrect. We're going to need about 150 total. So let's go another shard. Let's jump that up to 150 per minute. There we go. That should now be enough. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on this miner. Let's jump this up to 150 as well. There it is. Maxed out 250%. Now we'll just go over to these other two smelters. We're going to set them to make 75 apiece as well. Alright, so one extra power shard in there to make 75. Same thing on this one over here. We'll throw a power shard on, bump that up to 75 ingots per minute. Alright, that should be plenty of ingots. Now I'm going to add one more constructor down here to the other side. We're just going to basically match what we did on the other side here. So we'll just come down here and line that up. There we go. Connect that into that. Absolutely perfect. And then we will just connect power to, let's see, there to right there. And then that to that. And then our splitters down here. Let's see, there we go. Perfect. Conveyor line in. Conveyor line in. And let's see, we're making what? 12.5 beams per minute. You know what? Let's make 10 per minute. Let's see, we're currently making 12.5 times 3. So 37.5 steel beams per minute. If we change each of these to 10 per minute, yeah, I think that'll work. I've been doing a little bit of math, so I combined all of these up. So 75 plus 75 plus half of this one for 37.5 equals, let's see, 187.5 divided by 4 machines equals 46.80, some numbers. Essentially, we're using 40 ingots for each of these machines. So we're going to have some steel ingots left over, and that's fine by me. With our steel lines once again running efficiently, we next need to turn our attention to copper, specifically copper wire, because we're going to need that in order to make stators, and I don't think we're making enough right now to run all of our machines once we upgraded that stator machine up there. So we're going to take a look at what we have down here, which is these two machines right here that are making the reinforced iron plates. So they are needing 37.5 wire per minute. So that's times 2, that's 75 right there. Then we have another machine up on top up here. So we'll head up here. Let me jump around and get up here. I know how much you guys hate me jumping around. Let's see. And then we have this one here, which is also using wire. And we're going to need 56 per minute there. So that's going to be 112 total for both sides. And then we're going to add that with the 75 we need on the one downstairs. That's going to be 187 copper wire that we're going to be needing to produce total. All right, we should be able to get that. So let's head over here to the copper department, and one thing you'll notice that I've done is I've put railings up along all the edges down here just to kind of make it look a little nicer. And then we're going to head over to our wire machines. Now, these two right here making wire are only feeding cable. That's it. They're not going into anything else. These four machines right here are making copper sheeting, so we don't need to mess with those. Those are fine. What we need to do is look at these right here. So we have four machines making copper wire. So I know that I need 187 wire. We'll just round that out to, say, 190. We're going to divide that by 4. That means each of these machines need to make about 47.5 wire. Well, so far we're already making 35. So let's just go ahead and upgrade that to 47. Actually, let's just see how far that goes up. 45 a minute right there to 150%. So I'm just going to go ahead and upgrade each of these machines to the max here to 150%. Now that should be producing 100 and let's see, 45 and 45 is 90. Yeah, we're not producing enough actually. We need a little bit more than that. Let's come over here to our copper miner and see how much we're producing. So I know that we have a Mark III belt running out of here, which can send 270 units per minute. So let's see, we could upgrade this to, let's do the max. Let's do 240 that we have set there. That's 240. All right. And then we'll head back down here to our machines. That's going to be 240 divided among 4 machines. That means we can produce about 60 in each of the machines, but really we just need to concentrate on this side over here for the moment. So let's go ahead and upgrade that to 60. Yeah, it looks like we're just going to be maxing these out total all the way to 200%. And yeah, we're going to need to do these two over here as well. So we'll pump those up to 60 each. There we go. All right. And then we just set each of these machines to as far as they can go. So let's see, we have 120 all together coming down through here. Let's see, we need to do some divisions. So this constructor down here is actually sending, let's see, it's taking 75 a minute. So I'm going to add that into our list here of additions. So 75. This one is taking 12 per minute as well as that one. So that's 24. So we'll add that into our list. 24. All right, that's a total of 190 so far. And then these are going to be needing 22.5 per minute. Let's see, that's going to be 45. All right, that means we're going to need a total of 144 altogether. That is honestly just too much. We can't produce that much, so I need to look at something else here in order to fix it. So coming back up here to the top floor, when we look at the machine that's making the automated wiring, we turned that down earlier. So now we only need 20 cable per minute. So that's for both sides, that's 40. All right, so let's come back around here. Since that is the only machine needing that, we are actually making 75 cable per minute. So we can actually turn this down because we only need, let's say, 45, right? So let's turn this down. Let's just go with an even 50, actually. Let's see, that's going to need 100 wire per minute. So that means we only need to make 50 wire over here. I could probably take that out and then turn this down to 50. And then we come over here and we turn this one down to 50 as well. Take out that shard because we can use that for something else. All right, now that actually takes a lot less ingots now. So let me see what we got now. All right, so now we're looking at a total of about 94 ingots. All right, we could work with this. So let's make sure that all of our wire machines are now set to 45 or 150%. Once you have all those set, there's one more thing we need to change. So if we take out the foundation here, we're going to drop down here. There's a problem with the wire. So the wire is being split here. And half is going that way, and half is going up and into all the other machines. Now the problem is, We're not even using all of that down there. So that's sending a lot of wire all the way down. It's taking what it needs, and then the rest of it is going into storage, which is more than what needs to be sent down that way. So what I'm actually going to do is we're going to take out this splitter right here. We're going to take out this conveyor lift right here. Then we're going to go ahead and push this back. So let's put that conveyor belt into there. Next, let's take a conveyor lift. We're going to put it on the bottom here. We're going to turn it this way instead, just like that. We're then going to grab a merger and put it right in front of that with the output going up into that machine. So that's good right there. Then we're going to take a splitter and we're going to put it right next to that. I'm then going to go ahead and put another splitter right here. And we're going to run these belts into that. And then this one into the conveyor lift. Now, what we just did is we actually split all of this two different ways. So the first time all the wire is going to come down here, it's going to get split half and half. So if we're making, let's see, 45, we're making 150. No, we're making 180 wire down through there. So it's going to take 90 and send it on through, and another 90 is going to go up this way. And then the other 90 is going to go down here, but it's going to get split. So then 45 is going to go down that way, and then the other 45 is going to go up this way. Now, all of the wire that is going up through this conveyor lift is actually getting split even more into all the other machines up there. So that should do the job, I believe. Now we can hop out of here. We can then put our foundation back, and that should be fairly good for what we need now. Now the last thing we need to do is actually copy everything we did on this side with the assembler over to the other side, which means extending this floor out like so. Then we're going to copy that assembler. We're going to place that assembler down over here the same way we did last time. We're going to put that merger right here in front of this machine. We're going to put the floor hole right in the middle between those two foundations, and then a conveyor lift running in, conveyor belt connected. Take out this conveyor lift, go ahead and put that conveyor belt into this one, and then of course we're going to drop down. We're going to remove everything down here. We're going to put our foundation extensions down here on the bottom like so. We're then going to put our conveyor lifts in, one like that and one turn the other way. There we go. We need to also fix this one here, so we'll take that out, put that conveyor lift in, bring that down, turn that way. Then we'll put a splitter right in between those two right there. That's good. And connect those up with belts. Put our smart splitter down here and then connect that up to the conveyor lift like so. Run our conveyor belt from the smart splitter out down to here, and then connect that into that one. There we go. We're then going to run our other belt out, coming down this way, and run that into this belt here. Copy that smart splitter, and then we're going to put it right in here where this one is, right there. Connect that cable or that line into that. And then we just have to do one more right here. Set up our smart splitters. So let's see here. The left is going to be the rotors. Nothing is going to the center. And to the right is going to be overflow. I'm going to come down here. Left is going to be stators. Center is going to be overflow and none to the right. Connect this line up to there. Left is going to be modular frames. And overflow through the middle, none to the right. All right, that's everything here. And then we're going to come down here. We're going to, let's see, go ahead and take this out so I can jump up on top here. And we're going to just copy that over there, over to this side. So that means, let's see here. We're going to put a floor hole down right in the middle, right there, with a conveyor lift and output going that way. Connect that into that. There we go. Drop down underneath of here, and then again with the conveyor lift, And all of that goes into that. There we go. Put our floor pieces back down here as well, in between these two machines where we took them out. And of course I also took them out down here as well. So we'll go ahead and put those back in. And then we just need to connect up the power. So easy as pie. We'll copy that double wall outlet. We'll put it right there on top. Connect that power to there. Walk back through our hallway in here and then connect that to that one right there. Alright, that should be power, and then we'll just set this to, let's see, we're going to be making motors. We're going to be setting that to 50%. There we go. Going to set this machine to 40%. And then we're going to come up here on the end and we're going to set this machine, let's see, we'll put one of those into it. And we're going to set that to 140%. There we go. Now we don't have to worry about the motors going into storage because we actually fixed that in the last episode. But one thing we might want to fix before we head out of this episode is right here. I did kind of close this off where we have our doorway here. So we're just going to move our doorway around a little bit. I'll just take these out here and fix this. There we go. That looks much better now. We can do the same thing on the other side. Put our wall piece back right there, and there we go. All right, perfect. Now I do know that I have a ton of like open walls and stuff and things we haven't actually done yet. I even got a question on one of the comments about how I'm going to make that work in the corners over there. I do have a plan for that, and we're going to try to get to that as soon as possible, but right now we're just kind of concentrating more on getting oil and everything else. So yeah, now we got motors working. Let's see how that is as far as efficiency. We're at 71% over here. This one's been running a while. How's this one running? 100%. All right. Our stators are also at 100%. That's fantastic. That is good to see that everything is running good. We're even at 100% on the other side too. So I think we're going to do well with what we have now. Alright, so that's going to do it from this episode of How to Satisfactory. I appreciate you guys for watching. If you could do me a huge favor, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, because that says to YouTube to push my video out to a lot more viewers, and that's going to help the channel out tremendously, and it's just a huge favor to me if you could do that. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to all of my supporters out there and fans. Thank you so much for helping out the channel. I very much appreciate it. We're growing on a daily basis, and it means so much to me that this channel has gotten to where we're at right now. We are almost at 10,000 subs, which is fantastic. We're so close to getting there. I'd hoped to get there towards the end of last year, but it just didn't happen. But we're almost there right now, and that's all because of you guys, and I very much appreciate it. I also want to give a huge shout out to all of my Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for your help. That means the world to me. I'm going to go ahead and head out of here for now, but I will see you in the next episode. Until then, wherever you guys are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and I'll see you next time.